Now, with the government's recent announcement that the sporting industry will reopen in short order, the wish for one track club is that local meets will resume within a month as athletes prepare for the Tokyo Olympics. Denise Walters tells us more.
Olympian Johan Blake recently commented that Jamaican athletes will be left behind when the Olympic comes around if local competition doesn't resume soon, as the rest of the world is staging events. His concern is echoed by head coach for Sprintech, Maurice Wilson, who wants to see activity on the local track calendar in a matter of weeks as athletes continue to prepare for the Tokyo Games.
I'm hoping, as I said earlier, it will be 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and no more than those 4 or 5 weeks, that we can get back to competition sooner rather than later.
He says it may require thinking outside the box until things return to normal.
Well, I don't want to think that the longer we take to get back to regular competition, then we will have to be very creative. We did that in the summer. MVP organized the Velocity Fest meets, and we were a part of that. And when I refer to we, I'm referring to those other clubs that prepares seniors for competition. I think that we will have to be creative in terms of how we move forward until the situation is regularized.
Meanwhile, with athletes not competing, Wilson says there are ways they can remain sharp and ready to go.
But the meets are not being held, so I think the coaches can use time trials as substitution. And I'm quite sure that most of these organizations, they have enough persons that they can use as, whether you want to use it, we call it rabbit, and so on, just to keep the athletes competitive.
No track meet has been held locally since the start of the year because of the coronavirus pandemic. Denise Walters for TVJ Sports.
Wellington says that there are still plans to stage as many sporting events as they can in the Easter term, despite already being off to a late start due to COVID-19. Apart from track and field, cricket, basketball, table tennis and volleyball are usually held within the term from January to April. And Wellington says ISA is still looking at staging competitions, even if it means in a much reduced format.
The thinking now is that those who are able to, we want to engage them. Those who are able to and need to, we want to engage them. So if we normally have 100 students participating and only 15 are now available, we're not going to allow those 15 to not benefit from the opportunity because the other 85 cannot, especially once it is safe to do so. That is the most. We're not going to put the 15 at risk.
In the meantime, Wellington says that there has been significant buy-in from some stakeholders to resume high school sports, despite the disruption in face-to-face classes.
We have schools that have shown definite interest. Even in some cases where there are schools that don't believe that it is time for face-to-face schools. Some of these schools still believe that we should get the students engaged because these are smaller groups of students. And so I think that we will have some level of interest. We have some level of interest.
ISA had to cancel all sports in the Christmas term in 2020 due to COVID-19.